Competitive markets, surviving the price war. As John moves from his garage into his new factory, he realizes that he is no longer the only person with the idea to build custom mechanical keyboards. The market is suddenly flooded with competitors, all offering products that look and feel very similar to his Stickman brand. John has entered what Gregory Mankiw describes as a perfectly competitive market. In this environment, the rules of the game change completely. John is no longer a price maker who can decide what his keyboards are worth based on his own whims. He has become a price taker. This means that the market price is determined by the collective actions of all buyers and sellers, and John must accept that price as a given if he wants to sell a single unit. If he tries to charge even $1 more than the market price, his customers will simply walk across the street to a competitor. To survive this new reality, John must look closely at his revenue. In a competitive market, his total revenue is simply the price of a keyboard multiplied by the quantity he sells. But the more important metrics for his strategy are average revenue and marginal revenue. Average revenue is the total revenue divided by the amount of output, which, in a competitive firm, is always equal to the price of the good. Marginal revenue is the change in total revenue from the sale of each additional unit. For John, because the price is fixed by the market, every extra keyboard he sells adds exactly the market price to his total revenue. Therefore, for a firm in a competitive market, marginal revenue is equal to the price of the good. This equality, price equals marginal revenue, is the North Star that John will use to navigate the treacherous waters of a price war. How does John decide how much to produce to maximize his profit? He goes back to his marginal cost curve. As we learned in our previous lessons, John's marginal cost rises as he produces more. To maximize profit, John will continue to increase production as long as the marginal revenue, the price, is greater than the marginal cost of the next unit. The moment the marginal cost rises to meet the price, John stops. This is the golden rule of competitive markets. The profit-maximizing quantity is found where price equals marginal cost. If John produces more than this, the cost of the last keyboard will be higher than the money he gets for it, and his profit will shrink. If he produces less, he is leaving money on the table. By following this rule, John ensures that he is operating at the most logically sound point for his business, regardless of what his competitors are doing. But what happens when a price war starts? Suppose a new competitor enters the market with a massive factory and drives the market price down. John suddenly finds that the market price is lower than his average total cost. He is losing money on every keyboard he sells. At this point, John faces a difficult choice. Should he keep producing at a loss, or should he shut down his factory? Mankiw makes a crucial distinction here between a shutdown and an exit. A shutdown is a short-run decision to stop production for a specific period because of current market conditions. John still has to pay his fixed costs, like the rent on his factory, even if he produces 0 keyboards. Therefore, John should only shut down if the revenue he would get from producing is less than his variable costs, like labor and parts. If the price is high enough to cover his variable costs and even a tiny bit of his rent, he is better off staying open. However, if the price war persists and the market price stays below John's average total cost for a long time, he must consider an exit. This is a long-run decision to leave the market entirely. In the long run, John's fixed costs become variable. He can let his lease expire and sell his machinery. If the total revenue he can earn from the business is less than his total costs, it is time to move on to a different venture. Conversely, if the price were to skyrocket, new entrepreneurs would see John's success and enter the market. This constant flow of entry and exit is what keeps competitive markets in balance. It ensures that in the long run, the market price eventually settles at the point where it equals the minimum average total cost of the firms in the industry. This leads us to a surprising conclusion in economic theory: the condition of zero profit. In the long-run equilibrium of a competitive market, firms stay in business while making 0 economic profit. You might ask, why would John work so hard just to make 0 profit? The answer lies in how economists calculate cost. When John calculates his economic profit, he includes the opportunity cost of his time and the interest he could have earned on his capital. So, zero economic profit actually means that John is being compensated exactly enough for his labor and his investment to keep him interested in the business. He isn't getting super profits, but he is making a fair living. Understanding this allows John to stop panicking during a price war. He realizes that as long as he is the most efficient producer, operating at the minimum of his average total cost curve, he will be among the survivors who remain when the dust settles and the less efficient competitors are forced to exit. By mastering the mechanics of competitive markets, John has moved from being a simple builder to a seasoned industry veteran. He understands that he cannot control the price, but he can control his costs and his response to market shifts. He knows when to grit his teeth and stay open during a downturn, and he knows when the market is signaling that it's time to scale back or move on. Survival in a price war isn't about being the loudest. It's about being the most rational. John Stickman keyboards may face 1,000 clones, but by using marginal analysis to hit the exact point where P equals MC, he ensures that his business engine remains a lean, profit-maximizing machine that can withstand any storm the global market throws his way.